Define the difficult. I'm going to tell you when we talk about difficult people, what am I talking about? What are we talking about here? Look at what makes people difficult. So what's going on that really creates a situation where somebody behaves in a difficult manner? I'm going to talk about the 5 secrets and then how to apply them. I call these the 5 secrets, and we're going to apply them to what we're talking about here. Secret number 1 is, it's all about me. Now, it's all about me does not mean that the only thing I care about in life is me. It's all about me means that as I explain the situation, if I'm somebody who grew up with a dad who yells, my filter on the world is that that's what happens when people are upset with you. They yell at you even though you haven't done anything, right? It's all about me says that you and I go out to lunch together, and we start to have a conversation about something, and you're explaining something to me, Barbara. You've got your view on it that you developed based on all your experiences, but what do I have? My view on what I've developed throughout my life. So you're talking to me, but I'm putting it through my filter. And that's what I was trying to get about even manipulative, right? He has a filter of manipulative, but I have my filter about what manipulative means. I might even mean, well, hey, that's a good thing because you figure out ways to get people to do stuff that you need them to do. Some parents might say, I want to learn how to manipulate my kids. Right? I mean,
do you have that?
Right? Right? I mean, but the filters, kind of dictate. And so the other thing about the filters is that we have a certain view of the world about what's right and what's wrong, right? Like the way people should treat us, the way people should interact with one another. Now, I'm not suggesting that anybody's view is right or wrong. I'm just asking you to look at as the first kind of to lay a little bit of like laying the groundwork here. That we go into things and we have our filter that we put it through. Okay, so in a way, we're not viewing the world as clearly as we think we are. We're viewing it with our filter that we've developed. Like I like to say, it'd be nice if it was, that thing that's in the dryer and you don't take it out often enough, and you just take all that stuff off, and it'd be great if we could do that, right? But what happens, in your example, thank you, is a good one. So think about your filter. If you've dealt with someone and they've done something to you that you perceive as a really negative thing to do, what's your filter the next time you go back and deal with them? I know you. So we don't realize it. To describe things, because oftentimes what's happening is I'm compromising myself. I'm giving myself fewer options because of the way that I want to kind of put it in a box and label it. So you think about this. I mean, filters in a way, if we didn't have them, and every situation we went into was a new situation, it'd be kind of hard in life. Like we'd be relearning everything all the time. So, part of the reason they're there is it's good. They help us to, categorize things, and I see a class of people. These are certain things I want to do in terms of how I talk to people. We carry them, and in a lot of ways they're providing us with some energy because, we've learned something and we learn it over again. But then they hurt us in many ways because we don't realize that they're there. And so when we're dealing with people, we have many, many fewer choices available to us because I know, people that wear gray t-shirts, every time I have encountered a person in a gray t-shirt, you know what they've done to me? So if that's my filter and I say, oh, I know what I'm dealing with here.
Look out.
Huh?
Look out.
Look out, right? She's smiling, but I know the gray t-shirt. And see, so that, and I'm making a joke about that, but that's how we do it. So we all laugh about the fact that it's a gray t-shirt. But if I said to you, people when they make that face, I know what they mean by that. That's when it starts a lot of work in the behavioral realm. And I will tell you that of all the things that I've learned, I've I'm not sure there's anything that's been more valuable to me than this, because this is at the root of so many of our breakdowns, be it our spouse, be it our family, be it our coworkers. Fundamentally, what it means is that if I'm not like you, I don't like you. So believe it or not, there is research that they've been doing since 1984, and they do it primarily in the sales field, but they actually measure that we tend to buy from people that we like. And who do we like? We like people like us. But I'm going to go through why. This is actually just kind of a fun thing, this research that this guy did, and there's been some controversy over specifically his numbers, but I think it's really kind of an interesting little tidbit. So how much of the communication?
Is this male or female?
Actually, you know, he actually did, the primary control group was actually women, and that's why it's been a little bit controversial. But I'm going to do a little exercise with you that is going to kind of prove it out. But how much of what you hear is the way finding out he's not so bad. You know, I had coffee with him, and he's shared that, you know, she's actually nicer than I thought. Because we do in a way kind of build up our walls because of all of these other secrets. And so it's in a way easier for me, you know, you've heard the adage, right? I point the finger at you and I tell you you're the problem, and where are four of them pointing? You know, back at me, right? And that's not to say that, like, well, I'm the one, some of us do a fabulous job of beating up on ourselves. So I'm not advocating that. My ideal of secret number 5 is I don't beat up on you. I don't want to be in relationship with you anymore. Right? I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not Pollyanna, like the world's a beautiful place and we're all going to link arms and sing Kumbaya, because that just isn't the way it works, right? Maybe my choice is, wow, why am I engaging with you over and over and over again this way? Now, I'm not saying necessarily I'm going to say it to you, but I may make a choice that next time you call me for lunch, you know what, I'm busy. Do I have a choice? Is there a choice?
Well, yes, say anonymous. That would be great.
I mean, isn't that right? But that's what I'm saying. So don't I ultimately, though, don't we always have a choice? I'm not saying that the choice is easy, but I'm saying we have a choice. So he is a gentleman, but he has a choice to, in a very gentlemanly way, listen to what this colleague is saying and choose not to follow along with him. To politely listen, you know, wow, that's a really good idea. I wish you a lot of luck with that. It's great. So is it possible that there is a ramification to the choice? That's why I'm saying to you, this is not a Pollyanna, the world gets beautiful. But what we oftentimes don't even allow ourselves to understand, that there still is a choice. It might not be easy to implement, but there always is a choice. And that's what, and so we can sometimes start with the situations that are a little bit easier, the friend who wants to go to lunch, or somebody who asks you to yet again volunteer, or the neighbor who's always saying, I want your help with this, I want you. So we can start with the easier ones, and maybe it takes us longer to work up to where it's like, this is my boss. But nevertheless,